Hi guys, today I am doing a style using Irresistible Me extensions, which I have used before, and they are my favorites. So I am using mid-back length extensions. They're a little bit longer than my natural hair, but a lot of you guys have asked about doing styles with extensions and also doing styles with really long hair, so I thought it would kind of kill two birds with one stone. I've done some styles with extensions, but I've never curled them with them in my hair, which as you can see creates a more uniform curl, and it creates much more of a vintage style. So hopefully you guys find this useful, and let's get started. Okay, so first things first, you want to start this on day-old hair. It doesn't have to be straightened. It's actually better if it is not straightened. If you have curly hair, blow dry it straight. Do not use flat iron heat tools because that'll hinder the curling process. So you're going to take your extensions, and as you can see, I've used my extensions in curly styles before, so they've got a little bit of curl to them, but this is not uniform to the hair that I'm clipping them into. So just make sure that you brush the curl out so that your extensions are nice and smooth. They're not stringy. Brush all of them out, and then you're just going to start sectioning your hair. With this style, I'm actually putting the extensions in before I curl because you want all of your curls to be uniform with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my first part, and it's just going to be at the nape of my neck, and then I'm going to twist the rest of the hair up and pin it while I clip my extensions in. So you're going to take your first row of 3, give them a little brush through. Just going to open up your clips and clip them right into the root of the hair. And make sure that you also brush your hair before you start doing this because it'll be more difficult to brush it once you get the extensions in. You don't want to pull them out. So just clip them in as evenly as you can. Then you're just going to part half-inch sections, and you're going to put your extensions in like you usually do. Now with this section, this is the widest part of my head, so this is where I'm going to use the big boy extension. And the big boy extension is the one that has this little mat on it. Most of them don't, they just have the clips. This is where the bulk of your hair weight is going to. Now with these next couple of sections, I'm actually going to put the extensions on both sides of my head. Okay, so these are the little 2 clippers. I'm going to do one on one side. Just make sure that you're not clipping them too close to the front of your hairline, because if they go too far this way, then you're going to see them through your hair. Same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to do another row doing that same thing on both sides. Now, although you don't want them right at the front of your hairline, you don't want them too far back either, because then you're just going to give yourself a sweet mullet, and that's, although it is a pretty awesome look, it's not the look that we're going for today. And then the very last row I'm going to do towards the top of my hairline, and I'm just going to do one each of the singles. And that'll give you a little bit more weight of hair in the front of your head. Now you can definitely use more extensions if you want. I actually have pretty thick hair naturally, so I don't like to use too many of them because it just gives me like a sweater of hair and it's just too much for me. But whatever you do, if you use a lot of extensions, just be sure that they are all hidden, because there's nothing worse than when you see girlfriend walking down the street with her tracks showing. Okay, so once they are all in, just smooth your hair. You can give it a light little comb over the top. Just make sure you're not grabbing any of those extensions when you're combing. So this is pretty long hair to be doing vintage hair on. I know a lot of you guys have problems. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at the front of your hair, and you're going to curl just like I curl all of my vintage hair, except you're going to do it a little bit different in the back. So you're going to take about 1-inch sections. They can be a little bit bigger if you have a ton of hair, but you don't want them to be too much bigger. And be sure to get those ends tucked. A lot of you guys say you have problems with the ends. The key is to give your little thumb a bounce until the hair pulls all the way through, but don't pull it through too much because it'll just slide out of the curling iron. So you want it to still have some pull when you're holding the release. And then once it's nice and hot, just give it a little release onto your thumb, roll it all the way up to the root, take a sweet pin curl clip, clip it right in there. Just be careful with the extensions that you're not clipping too hard into the extensions, because when you pull out, you don't want to pull those extensions with the pin curl clips. So just take another small section here in the front, and make sure especially that all of your sections are the same size. It's most important for them to be the same size in the front, because you really want uniform curls. And I find it better to start twisting the curling iron when it's kind of halfway down the shaft of your hair and not all the way at the end, because if you pull it all the way to the end, especially if you have fried hair like I do, it's just going to fry your hair even more. It's just going to sizzle those ends. And you want to pin them as close to your head as you possibly can. So now we're going to do this last section. Now when you're done with the curls on that side, you're going to do the same size sections and the same amount of curls on this side so that it's really uniform. So once both of those sections are curled, you're going to start curling the back. And you might need to make your sections a little bit smaller on the top because they're going to start farther down. So you don't want to have a ton of hair in these sections. So once that curl is done, you're going to pin it. And you're going to just kind of line up these curls with that second row of curl that you did in the front, so this one. So all of them should be straight around and lined up there. So you're going to do your whole head, keeping your crown straight. Same size sections if you can. It's probably going to take a while with extensions, so just be patient, but it'll be worth it once the hair is cool. So let's do this. Okay, so this is what your hair looks like when it's all cooled. Should be fairly uniform, all of your curls, basically the same size. So once it's curled, you're going to let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes. Usually I say 10 to 15, but when you have extensions in your hair, or if you have really long hair, usually takes a little bit longer to cool. If you have extremely stubborn hair, you can totally sleep on the curls overnight. So basically now you can just take out all of those pins. Be really careful when you pull them out that you're not pulling on any of the roots of the extensions, because the extensions will just come right out. You can also do this if you have glue-in or sewn-in extensions also, or if you have tracks or any of that. I'm just using clip-ins because I don't have extensions, but this works for all types of extensions. And it also works if you don't have them, if you just have super long hair. Okay, so make sure all of your pins are out. You're still going to feel, obviously, the extensions in there, but just make sure there's no pins. So now I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm just going to kind of lightly go through those extensions. Now you're going to notice that your hair is going to be much shorter in the beginning. It'll start to loosen a little bit, but it's not bad that it's short because that creates, more of a vintage look. Okay, so for the back, which I'm going to do before I do the front, I'm just going to start with a paddle brush and just gently start brushing some of that curl. You want to just brush it really gently and brush it so that all of the curl lays together really pretty. And you can brush it as much as you need to or as little as you need to. If you feel like it's brushing the curl out, you can totally stop. My hair curls pretty well. You're also going to find when you put extensions in, the extensions are really going to hold curl well. So if you have hair that's kind of tricky with holding curl, you're going to find the extensions are going to be kind of a miracle worker. Okay, so just brush the hair until you feel like it's relaxed enough to start styling the front, and we can always come back to it. So in the front, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making waves in my hair. So this part I'm going to brush back, and then this part I'm going to brush forward. Now the smaller the sections that you're working with, the easier it's going to be. Actually, I'm going to start with it forward. You just kind of want to go where the curl feels like it's naturally going. So felt like it was going forward, I'll go forward. So then this part of the curl, you can brush back. And this is just giving you kind of that finger wave, but obviously it's not that era of hair. Just kind of feel how the curl naturally wants to go. And then when you get to the end, you can just kind of brush the curls, be really gentle that you're not pulling out those waves you just set in there with the clips. But you can just kind of brush it however it wants to go naturally. And also make sure that it blends with the back of your hair as well. So then you can take those out, be really gentle with them. and then you should have that front wave set into your hair. You can also do this if you don't have bangs. I'm just doing it, obviously, the way I'm doing it because I have bangs. But if you want to do the same wave set, you can do it in the front or in the top or wherever it is that your hair is parting. So then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and you want to try to set the wave pattern the same on both sides because I do have a center part, so I want to try to make this symmetrical. And also, if you want a little bit more set to your wave, you can spray it with a hairspray, but I just don't want that stiff feeling to my hair, so I'm not going to do that. I like to use the fine tooth comb to do my first combing because it's not going to pull on the hair as much as the comb is. But then once you brush that front hair into the back hair, then you can use, sorry, not the comb, the brush. It's not going to pull as much as the brush does. But you can use the brush for your kind of final setting. Then I'm just going to take a fine tooth comb and I'm just going to comb all my frizzies and flyaways. Be sure that you don't pull that comb all the way through because it's going to hit those extensions. Now you can give the back a final brush because the front is all set now. Just be really gentle because you don't want to disturb what you've just done in the front. And then if you have any frizz or flyaways, you can totally use any kind of frizzing serum. This is just a New Me styling oil, but you can just get a little bit of it on your hands and then just kind of smooth the flyaways. But if you do have flyaways or frizz, only smooth on the top layer. Don't smooth down here because you're going to lose your curl with that serum. So, style is done. And as you can see, it's going to make your hair a lot shorter, which is good for the vintage styles. Obviously, if your hair is longer, like if your hair is butt length, it's going to be, you know, a little bit longer than this. But my hair uncurled is about down to here, so it shortens up a good amount. So hopefully you like this style. Hopefully you gals with long hair or extensions found it useful. If you want to see any other styles using extensions, please let me know because I have a couple of different lengths, so I can definitely work to give you guys what you're looking for. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.